What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of V for Voter with me, your host, Voter. Christmas is around the corner and all the fun and awesome Apple gadgets have landed, and today's video is going to be a little bit about the Apple Watch. So Apple products are, cool to buy, and if you have one and you own one, something like the Apple Watch, then you look almost cooler than a hipster with a typewriter. Well, that's at least what a lot of non-Apple people would like to say. So, is it worth your while? Is it worth buying the Apple Watch 1 or the Apple Watch 2? Let's chat about that. Today I want to chat about a couple things that are important and some things that are a little superfluous to your actual purchasing decision. First off, let's chat a little bit about what it's like to have the Apple Watch as your choice of wearable tech. Then we'll dive into the Apple Series 2 and see if that's worthwhile buying or not. I've been living with the Apple Watch Series 1 for about 2 years now, and I must say that the transition into wearable tech has actually been fairly smooth. Now, when I say it's been fairly smooth, I mean like I've adapted pretty easily, I got to working the functions. It's a very user-friendly device. The only thing that's maybe not so smooth is the constant tapping that you get on your wrist. You've got a message, you've got a message, you've got a message. So, when the Samsung Gear was launched, everybody was amazed and intrigued by this new dimension of connectivity and what it meant for us people who want to be in the know and connected at all times and at a glance, at a single touch. We oohed and awed about this amazing yet predictable piece of new tech that would bring a whole new genre of consumer hardware. Now I say predictable because we've all seen Star Trek and how that basically invented the cell phone, so we kind of saw this one coming, didn't we? However, when the Apple Watch was launched, it was a very different response. Anyone who owned it was looked at with turned up noses and accused of showing off and that I was shoving it in people's faces. And wait, did I say I? I meant we. I meant we were showing it off and shoving it in people's faces. That just kind of came with the territory of owning an Apple product, especially one that was so hyped up and highly anticipated like the Apple Watch. As time went on, however, people started to ask more questions about, what was it like owning it and why did I choose it and why did I buy it? So let's delve into that a little bit more. The Apple Watch is first and foremost an extension of the human body into the digital world and connects us with information in such a way that not even our phones could even do. This piece of wearable tech symbolizes the evolution of the 21st century human being who wants to be in the know at all times. I mean, it's basically a very expensive anti-FOMO device. Secondly, and more importantly, it is a fitness tracking device, and a pretty good one at that. Yes, there are better ones out there like the Suntus and the Polars and the Garmins, but none of those can display and package that data as beautifully as the Apple Watch does. Also, those other products aren't as good as keeping you connected as the watch does, as the Apple Watch does. Now, I didn't say that they don't have those functions, because they do, but they just don't do it as elegantly and as simply as the Apple Watch does. So why would I get the Apple Watch? I go to gym, but I don't really pay attention to my heart rate and my step counter. And why get a watch when I already have a stunning Swiss-made Tissot that can tell the time just as well? And how difficult is it to really just pull out my phone and look at the latest notification that I get? The answer is actually quite simple. It's new, it's beautiful, and made to make life a lot simpler. Well, let me explain. So, fitness tracking. I may not be tracking every step and every heartbeat to try and improve my fitness or whatever, but since I have the device, I may as well set myself some goals and keep track of them. If I didn't have the device, I wouldn't do this, and the motivation factor is lost. Remember, Apple uses the fact that it reminds you to be active as a very strong selling point. You have no idea how powerful it is to have a reminder just to tell you to stand up every now and then. So what about keeping in touch and up to date? Yes, I could take my phone out and just look at the latest random picture that someone sent to me on the WhatsApp group. Or I can just glance at my watch and decide on whether I actually want to take action on this or not, or whether I just want to leave it and maybe it's something I can check out later. Similarly, calendar events, emails, reminders, any kind of notification can be viewed at a glance, and then a decision can be made on whether you want to actually take action against it or not. You may not realize it now, but trust me when I tell you that cumulatively, it saves you so much time. Like, rather than taking your phone out and locking it, looking at the picture, rolling your eyes and being like, oh my God, not this stupid meme or whatever, locking your phone, putting it away. It's just so much simpler to just glance at your watch. Battery life is also pretty good, with about 2 days of regular use out of one charge. Unless of course you're using the fitness tracker, which then starts to read your heart rate consistently or constantly. That'll drain your battery a little bit faster, and maybe some excessive use might drain a little bit faster, but it's about 2 days almost on one charge. And charging it as well from 0 to 100% is under an hour plus minus. So what about the downsides? There are features of the watch that I feel are a little bit gimmicky, and then there's also those non-existent features that we think kind of should have been there, or at least I think so. Let's start with the GPS. It doesn't have the GPS. Now, for a device that's supposed to be able to track your movements and track your fitness and everything, and even help you navigate, I mean, there is maps on here. Not having GPS seemed a bit odd. Having your phone with you all the time it seemed a bit strange. This is supposed to be a sort of a device that negates that, but hey. This is, however, resolved with the Apple Watch 2, which does come with included GPS. So what about hands-free? Well, the speaker on the device, to be honest, is absolutely dismal, to say the least. They could have added a few more decibels, I'm sure they could have. I know it's a small product and it's new tech, but just a couple more decibels would have at least made it a lot more audible when using it as a hands-free communication device. I often looked like a bit of a deranged lunatic trying to communicate with the mothership with my wearable device and beam me up, Scotty. But yeah, let's not get into that. Even the noises in your car, the exterior noises, just that rumbling is enough to make it very difficult to hear someone if you're driving and you're speaking to someone on the watch. You can kind of hear them, but it's not great. And then there's the haptic feedback. I can see why this is a feature. I mean, if you need to notify someone of something, of a notification, and you don't want to do it with a sound, because it does have sounds, but you can mute them, which is, I think, probably the more responsible thing to do, so you're not annoying everybody around you. But while the theory is sound, practically it can be extremely annoying, especially if you have those people that like to send messages line by line by line by line, and you end up getting like 30 taps on your wrist because of one conversation or one message that could have gone just into one block. They've now broken it up into 30 lines. You know who you are. You know who you are. This may not happen all the time, but trust me when I tell you that when it does happen, it's made me even want to like take it off and throw it away and just be like, I'm done. I'm over this watch thing. But not always. It's quite rare, to be honest. So is the Apple Watch a worthwhile purchase for a tech junkie, a fitness junkie, or a combo of the two? Well, the answer is yes, yes, and yes. Like I said before, there are better fitness tracking devices out there, but none quite as elegant, as beautiful as the Apple Watch, or even the Samsung Gear for that matter, or any other wearable tech out there. Well, wearable tech, I mean from like cell phone manufacturers. They just make them far more elegantly than, some of the other traditional tracking devices out there. Did I just call it a tracking device? I guess it is kind of. I mean, now that it's got GPS built in the Series 2, you could probably be tracked. It's a technological advancement that would have any tech junkie jumping with excitement at the possibilities and features of such a small piece of hardware. However, you must consider whether you want this kind of connectivity in your life. Using this device ensures that you're always connected and always in the know of what's happening, whether it being email, text, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. You're going to be constantly told exactly when those messages come through. So what about the Apple Watch Series 2? I have not been able to use one yet, but the Series 2 does address some of the Series 1 shortcomings, namely GPS as the prime example. However, it has not changed much physically, so if you get one, be prepared to point out the fact that it's a Series 2. And when you do that, you know exactly what you're going to get. Oh, look at you, Mr. Series 2. Oh, isn't this guy like super cool with his Series 2? So the ultimate question for Christmas, do you buy the Series 2? If you don't already own the Series 1, then yes, I think you should or could, assuming that you're in the market for something like this. and you've kind of considered the aforementioned pros and cons. If you already own the Series 1, I would say no. Wait for the Series 3 or the 2S or whatever they decide to call it. The feature and hardware improvements for me aren't substantial enough to justify jumping from the 1 to the 2. It's a lot like how a lot of people decide on which iPhone to buy. They generally go from the 6 to the 7 or the 6S to the 7S. You know, a lot of people will skip a generation just because the progression just isn't enough. And with tech like this being released on such a regular basis, you can kind of understand why. So what about buying the Series 1? Well, now the prices are dropping, so you might be tempted, but again, I would suggest maybe wait for the next generation. The reason being is that this is first gen tech, and a lot of the best features are still being ironed out and will be coming out and implemented in the next generation or two. Well guys, that's basically it for my user experience review of the Apple Watch. I do love it and I will continue to buy future generations of the Apple Watch in the years to come, as long as they add some better features rather than just adding more Mickey Mouse face watches, watch faces. I hope this video has shed some light on what it's like to own the Apple Watch and maybe helped you on your purchasing decision for whether you want to buy one or not, or wait a few generations, whatever it is. I hope it helped you, and if it did, please don't forget to smash the like button and leave a comment below. Do you agree with me? Do you own an Apple Watch, and are you planning on buying one? Put it in the comments below and we'll chat about it. Anyways guys, this has been V for Voter. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next video.